What creditors must give to you upon your request? Welcome to Your Clear Thinking. I'm Roderick Mitchell, author of Credit Straight Talk, Clarity on the Conspiracy. This episode is part of a series designed to help you build a solid credit foundation. In this episode, I'm going to talk to you about the information that creditors must give to you if you ask for it. The information I'm giving you is from the Consumer Credit Protection Act, the CCPA. Disclosures to consumers. All information that is on file, the sources of that information, and who received the reported information is what must be given to you upon request. Every consumer reporting agency shall, upon request and subject to Section 610 of the CCPA, clearly and accurately disclose to you all information in your credit file at the time of your request, except if you, the consumer whom the file relates, request that the first 5 digits of your Social Security number or similar identification number not be included in the disclosure, and the consumer reporting agency has received appropriate proof of your identity, and the consumer agency shall truncate the number in the disclosure. Nothing in this paragraph shall require a consumer reporting agency to disclose any information concerning credit scores or any other risk scores or predictors relating to you, the consumer, meaning that the credit score is not part of the information reported by creditors to credit reporting agencies. So it will not come with the file disclosure. The sources of the information, except the information acquired for use in preparing an investigative consumer report and used for no other purpose, need not be disclosed, provided that in the event an action is brought under this title, these sources shall be available to the plaintiff under appropriate discovery procedures in the court. Identification of each person, including each end user that obtained a consumer report for employment purposes during the 2-year period preceding the date on which the request is made, or for any other purpose during the 1-year period preceding the date on which the request is made. An identification of a person shall include the name of the person, or if applicable, the trade name, written in full, under which the person conducts business, and upon your request, the address, telephone number of that person. Paragraph A does not apply if the end user is an agency or department of the U.S. government that obtains the report from the person for the purposes of determining your eligibility to receive access or continued access to classified information. And the head of the agency or department makes a written finding as prescribed under Section 604. The dates, original payees, and amounts of any checks upon which is based any adverse characterization of you included in the file at the time of the disclosure. A record of all inquiries received by the agency during the 1-year period preceding the request that identified you in connection with credit or an insurance transaction that was not initiated by you. If you request the credit file and not the credit score, a statement that you may request and obtain a credit score, exempt information, the requirements of the subsection of this section respecting the disclosure of sources of information and the recipients of that consumer reporting information do not apply to information received or consumer reports furnished prior to the effective date of this title, except to the extent that the matter involved is contained in the files of the Consumer Reporting Agency. Summary of rights to obtain and dispute information in consumer reports and to obtain credit scores. The Bureau shall prepare a model summary of the rights of consumers. The summary of rights shall include a description of the right of the consumer to obtain a copy of a consumer report from each consumer reporting agency, the frequency and the circumstances under which you are entitled to receive a consumer report without charge, your right to dispute information in your file under Section 611, your right to obtain a credit score from a consumer reporting agency, and a description of how to obtain a credit score, the method by which you can contact and obtain a consumer report from a consumer reporting agency without charge, as provided in the regulations of the Bureau, prescribed under Section 211C of the Fair and Accurate Credit Transaction Act, as provided in the regulations of the Bureau, prescribed under Section 612 of the CCPA. Availability of summary of rights. The Bureau shall actively publicize the availability of the summary of rights prepared under this paragraph and promptly make such summary of rights available to you upon request. A consumer reporting agency shall provide to you with each written disclosure by the agency to you under this section. The summary of rights prepared by the Bureau under paragraph 1. In the case of a consumer reporting agency described in section 603, a toll-free telephone number established by the agency at which personnel are accessible to you during normal business hours. A list of federal agencies responsible for enforcing any provision of this title, and the address and any appropriate phone number of each of such agency, in a form that will assist you in selecting the appropriate agency. A statement that you may have additional rights under state law and that you may wish to contact a state or local consumer protection agency or state attorney general or the equivalent to in your state to learn about those rights, and a statement that a consumer reporting agency is not required to remove accurate derogatory information from your file unless the information is outdated under Section 605 or cannot be verified. In this episode, I talked to you about information that a credit report agency must give to you and some information to know about. Remember to subscribe and select the playlist to see this entire series. I'm Roderick Mitchell, the author of Credit Straight Talk, Clarity on the Conspiracy. Visit me at yourclearthinking.com, and remember, together we rise.